Hey, my name is Chad. In this video, I'm going to tell you guys how my PRS match went yesterday. So we'll just jump right into this. Had a weird night, went to bed about midnight, woke up about 1:30, fell back asleep, woke up about 3:50, and figured my alarm was going off at 4 o'clock, so I'm just going to stay awake. And then apparently I fell back asleep and woke up about 5:15. So get ready in the morning. We get out there. I actually still managed to get out of the house early. For me, that's like a practical miracle. I'm usually getting there like 5-10 minutes before start, and I'm rushing around trying to get unpacked and get up and get going. So one miracle of the day was that I got there first. I was kind of not trusting some of my info just because I thought that out at distance I was not hitting where my Kestrel was telling me that I should be. So I wanted to do a truing test. Ended up getting down, set up, and shot at a target, I believe 600 or 800, I can't remember. And after the cold bore, which was a little bit low, I put 2 hits probably within an inch and a half of each other, and they were, right where they should be. So I decided I'd go ahead and trust what my Kestrel was telling me. Maybe the day that I was testing out at my place here, I just had some bad info in it, or there was a bunch of mirage and like mist coming up off the grass from the rain the day before, and then it was really hot that day. So not sure exactly what was causing me to miss when I was practicing, but at the match I seem to be on. So we're off to a good start. So overall, I'll just give you my high level results of the whole match. So taking into account every shot possible, there was a 57 maximum shots. I managed to get off 52, so I still didn't get through every single stage. I timed out on a few of them, but I got most of them shot. Hits, I only had 29, so that puts my hit percentage about 56%, and then my score, out of the maximum score, my score was right at 51%. So there would be, as is typical for me lately, I'll have 1 or 2 stages that I do really good on, and then a couple that I do okay on, and then 2 or 3 that I do just kind of pitiful on, for me at least. My group started on the positional stages, and the first one is called the 5S, is a ship sim spinner S show. So the trick on this one is that you had to spin a spinner at 300 yards and then engage a target behind it at 400 yards. The interesting part about this one is you have to start holding your rifle, bags, whatever you're going to use, and when they call time, you jump up onto a platform that's suspended by chains on each corner. So as you're getting set up, it's moving back and forth, side to side, so you've got to get set up and then wait for it to slow down a bit, and then as soon as you rack your bolt, you're moving again. Take your shot, you start moving again. So you've got to keep your point of aim while running the bolt and dealing with the recoil. So a trick is to try and lift your leg up and kind of off balance, and like as you're going back, kick your leg forward. As you're going forward, kick your leg back, and that'll slow down the movement a little bit. Honestly, this is the first time I did this, so I watched other people do it. When I got up to shoot my part of the stage, I totally forgot about that and didn't do anything close to that. On the spinner, you can only score a maximum of 6 points on it. So even if you hit the spinner 8 times or all 10 times and you don't get it to spin, you can only score 6 points there. So I managed to get off all 10 shots. I actually hit the spinner 6 times. My first 2 shots, I pegged it and got it most of the way. And then by the time I got settled back down for my 3rd shot, which I think I missed, and then my 4th shot, it had lost all of its momentum and was not spinning anymore, so I had to start it back over. So I spent all 10 shots and got 6 hits and never went out to the 400 lollipop. We had 2 barrel stages. Barrels 1 was an 8 shot, and you had a 395 and a 300 yard target. And so this one, you have to start holding your stuff and jump onto the ground, set up prone, take 2 shots at the 395, and then hop up, do each of the barrels, 2 shots from each position at the 300 yards, and then hop down on the other side of the barrels and take 2 offhand shots, so left hand, left eye, back at the 395. I didn't even get to the last one. You know what? I've got everything set up here. I'll just show you what I did. Okay, so for this stage, I had to start with bag in hand and rifle in my other hand. You'll start with your mag in, bolt back, just like this here. I'm just going to run through it dry so you can get an idea of what kind of happens. So what I was thinking is that I would use my game changer bag, and I would lay it down flat and use that large spot there as a rear bag rider, and then I would hop up, toss it onto the barrel, get stable, and then do the same thing on the second barrel. I didn't take into account like my bipod on the second barrel, had some goofs there, and I'll just show you what I did, but I kind of airballed it and shot it with no rear support, and I got lucky that I got my 2 hits there, but I took so much time doing that, I did not get down to take the final 2 shots. So, okay. This is kind of how this goes. They'll say, ready? Give them the okay. And they say, time starts now. So then you got to run up, get settled in. Okay. Find your target, get adjusted, and 1, 2, okay, and then you've got to adjust your scope to where you need to be for the next shot, and then you're going to want to grab your rifle bag, jump up, lay down. So apparently my camera lost me there, so after you take those 2 shots, you're going to want to grab your bag, jump up, move over, lay your bag down, rifle on top of it, and then get down and find your target. 1, 2, and then move to the next one. And this is where I came into a bit of a problem. So dropped my bag up here, went to set my rifle down, but then my magazine is hung up, so I couldn't do that. So I thought, okay, I'll rest the bipod up here, and then I tried to change my mind and go back here and see if I could rest on the grip. We'll just say I tried 2 or 3 things and none of them worked, so I came back to resting on the bipod, and then I was trying to use my bag here under my arm and just find the target and try and hold the whole back end of the rifle up and shoot completely free-handed. I managed to get 2 hits, but that was really not the right way to do this. But in that situation, it ended up working out. Now that I know a little better, I probably should have just shot down on prone, and then as I was getting up, folded my bipod legs out, and then used my bag on the top of the barrel, or screwed my bipod closer in on the Arca rail, and then maybe try to get it situated there. But I still think I wouldn't have been able to get too far up here that I'd be able to support the rear. So that's going to be something I'm going to work on. Obviously I've got a couple barrels out here, so I'm going to try to put in some practice before the next match at this location and see if I can get better using the barrels. Okay, so that one was 8 shots total. I got 6 shots off and got 6 hits. So my hits were good. I just didn't make it all the way to the end. And then the next barrels was a 9 shot. There was a 300-yard target. You hit 2 times and then 1 out at 650. And you do that from the low position barrel. And then you move up to the high position barrel, go out to the 400-yard target, hit that with 2, 1 to the 650, and then come back down here and go to the 500-yard target and 2 shots at that, and then 1 at the 650. So on this stage, since I had a better idea after the first barrels of what I'd run into, I started with my bipod up and called time and got bag settled on there and found my first target, got my shots out to the last one, then adjust to the next target, and then come up. And this is where I kind of went. I was trying to do the grab, rifle, and bag and kind of plop down. I didn't really get a very good plop, so I ended up having to readjust some and then try to get down. And I think I missed both from here. This was not a very good stage. I think I need to work on just picking the bag up separately and moving the bag, or picking my rifle up one-handed, moving the bag instead of trying to do it all with my offhand. I just need to grab rifle with one hand, bag with the other, and move separately if I'm going to do it like this. So that one I got 8 shots off out of the 9, but I only got 3 hits. So I was off on that. We were shooting at IPSC targets. I think they were like half IPSC or quarter IPSC. They were the smaller little person shaped steel targets. So on the positional stuff, I will admit that over the last couple weeks, I spent more time trying to get my reload and all that set up so that I would have ammunition that I trusted a little bit more than the factory boxed ammunition. I did not really get out and practice any positional stuff, really much shooting at all between the last month's match and this one last week. I could tell that I did not put in much actual practice. I just worked on reloading stuff, and I started to notice where some of my hiccups were. So one thing is that I did not use the bag that I had got purposely for doing stuff just like this. I saw everybody else was using their Game Changer bag, and I thought, okay, that must be the way to go. Everybody else is doing that. So I didn't even use the bag that I got specifically for these barrel type stages. So I'm going to leave these set up out here and put in some practice and see if my attached bag that's got a grippier base to it, see if that'll work better moving between positions, and see if I can do a little better on the time and getting stable with this as opposed to the handheld and fidgeting around. And I think I dropped my bag once, so I just had not practiced that way, and I should have gone with what I had practiced a little bit more, but I didn't even think about it when I was out there. So halfway driving home, I was like, oh man, why did I carry my bag the whole time? I've got that bag that attaches to the rail for just this kind of situation. So that was a little disappointing, but that was all me. Sometimes I just get so laser focused on one thing, like seeing everybody use one type of bag and thinking, okay, that must be the way to go, and completely blocking out everything else. Whoops. Okay, so next was the 4 prone stages. One difference this time was that every prone stage we had to start standing up, rifle and bag in hand. So they call time, and we've got to toss our bag down, get settled, and then get down, find the targets downrange again for that stage, get situated, and start firing. So there was, the first stage was called reach out and touch something. That one was only 5 shots total. You had 2 minutes, and it was all at the 1,050-yard target. So I got down, my first shot was a miss, and then I hit my last 4. So I actually did pretty good on that one, 4 out of the 5 at 1,050 yards with my own hand loads. I'm pretty happy with how that worked out. Then the rest of the prone stages kind of fell apart from there. So the chaos stage, which I did good once before, I did kind of terrible this time. So that was a 7 shot, 1 minute time limit, and you have to hit 375, and you have to hit that to move on, but you go 375, 475, 575, 475, 375, 475, 575. So I think I hit the first one and then missed the second one. Had to re-engage until I hit it and moved on. Anyways, I ended up only getting 6 shots off there and only 3 total hits. So I don't know if the middle one of them was giving me a bit of a headache, and I did not do so well there. Then was a 8-shot stage at a kind of a know your limits type thing. So descending size of targets, but you have to shoot the biggest one at 400 or at 300 yards, and then go over to a 400-yard target and claim that, and then come back, shoot the next smallest one on the rack, then hit that, go to the 400, come back to the next smallest on the rack, etc. That one was a hit to move on stage. So I missed a couple there. I ended up with 4 hits out of the 8. And then the last stage was called Big and Little. At 3, 4, 5, 6, and 800 yards, there was a big target, and then right next to it a small one. Your first shot's at the big one. If you hit that, you shoot at the small target. If you miss the big one on your first shot, re-engage it. But after those 2 shots, move on to the next range and repeat that, big and then little if you hit. So that one, I actually only got 3 hits out of the 9 shots that I took. That one was my worst stage overall, just because I could have got 10 maximum points and I only got 3. So as you can see, the couple stages I did all right, a few of them I did terrible. What I noticed fairly quickly was that I was getting some numbers that did not make sense here on my Kestrel. So instead of kind of trusting this to give me information that was good, I kept fiddling with it, and I ended up going to a point where I would have to input my target direction as 12 o'clock straight in front of me, and then manually tell it how much wind was blowing and from what direction. Then it would give me my windage adjustments and everything like that. What I noticed is that after a few minutes, I would be off on the compass calibration here. So like, I know you're supposed to put the back face towards the direction you're going. So with the back of it in this direction, it should be north. Right here should be close to 360 or 0 degrees straight north. This telling me it's like a northeast at 40 degrees. So right now it's, let's see, I'd say it's about 40 degrees off. It's trying to tell me north is here, and I know for sure that is northwest right now. So there is something that is just off in the way this does. Now I can go in and recalibrate it, and it'll work okay for a little bit, and then it'll start losing where it is. So I got to figure it out. I would have a point where I could have it facing north, and it would be fairly close, like within 10 degrees, and then turn completely west, and it would maybe register a 8 to 10 degree move, go completely south, so it'd be a 180 degree turn, and it would only register maybe 20 to 30 degrees. So I've got to figure out what I am doing wrong with this, why it keeps losing calibration. I want to be able to trust the numbers that it gives me. That also makes me wonder, was I missing out here on Monday when I was practicing because this was giving me something, just 2 tenths too high, and that was throwing me over the top of my targets. I had calibrated it right before I got the info and tried to shoot at my targets at 500 yards. So I don't know. I've got a few ideas. It's either like my phone electronics, but I usually try to keep it at arm's length away. At most it'll be here, so it's not super close, but it's fairly close. I do have a metal dope card, so there are magnets on this. I try not to get close to my rifle because I know magnets can affect this, so I try to keep it on the other side of where my dope card holder is and back closer towards the stock, so it's at least 10 to 12 inches away from the magnets, but you know, I need to figure out where the line is, that like if it gets too close to my phone or to that dope card holder, where is the cause of this getting thrown out of whack and not knowing where it's at. So that's how my match ended up going. A few stages went not as good as I hoped they could have, and I really need to get out and do some actual shooting practice and quite a lot of dry fire practice, I think, between now and the next one. I've got to get more confident in some of the gear that I have, especially the Kestrel. For some reason, that's just consistently been one of my weak points here. I think if I can get more confident with that over the next couple of weeks and test some of my bags and gear a little bit better, see if I can pick up a couple seconds in between moving positions and getting set up, that should help me going into the next match. But my ammo seemed to work out pretty well. When I was on target and I had the correct adjustments dialed in on my scope, I was getting good hits. So I can trust the work that I've done on the ammo side. Now I need to shift back and work on the me side of it and get myself back in shape and see if I can pick up a couple more points. You know, if I can get 2 to 4 more hits per stage, like on the ones that I do considerably bad on, that'll move me up. So overall, I ended up 4th out of the 9. I got to the goal that I wanted so far as my overall finish. I just honestly didn't get the number of hits that I wanted. I really wanted to have closer to 60% of the score, and so I was a little bit short there, but I'm going to keep working at it, and I will get there pretty soon. You know what? I just thought of something. If you could take a look, make sure you're subscribed. I really want to make sure you follow along, see how I do next month after I do some practicing and hopefully get a little better at this. But if you got any tips or suggestions, please drop them in the comments down below. I really like to hear from all of you guys out there. If there's anything else you want to know more about, please let me know. I want to answer as many questions as possible, and I'm out here to find as many answers as possible for myself. So I really appreciate all the interactions that I have with you guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.